Hi everyone, in this video we're going to have a look at work in progress as a delivery metric. Let's start with a quick definition. Work in progress, given as a number, refers to the tasks or features your team is actively working on within a given time period. It's meant to reflect the team's ability to maintain a steady workflow through the development process, so you want your work in progress to remain fairly consistent. In this video we'll have a look at what the reason may be if your work in progress increases, or if it decreases, as well as the benefits of using it as a delivery metric, and also really how it could provide limited information. So let's have a look at a few different scenarios. Firstly, imagine your work in progress has fallen. What does that mean? It means that the number of stories or tasks that your team is working on has gone down, which on the face of it seems like a negative thing, as you're working on less tasks, you're producing less value than previously. But it could be that you've noticed your cycle time has increased over the same period, which means that the cards have taken longer to get through. Perhaps it's the case that these tasks are larger and so naturally need more resources to complete. The cards being larger is the place to begin your investigation. If your work in progress falls but the cycle time remains consistent, then perhaps there are bottlenecks. Cards are being picked up, but there are far too many blockers causing delays in the development process. This is very dependent on your team and situation. In some teams, this may cause the work in progress to rise, as the team picks up more cards while waiting on these blockers. The alternative is your work in progress goes up as a result of your team taking on more work than it can realistically handle within a certain time frame. And this might be fine depending on the situation. If there's a shortened deadline and you have to really push to get the work through at a higher rate, sustainable for the short term, but not something that can be done long term, as this is the sort of thing that leads to burnout. Generally, having a higher work in progress for any given team is going to increase context switching, and that's going to introduce inefficiency. So you can use work in progress to understand your team better. However, it's not a measure that you can compare between teams, as different teams have different contexts, as well as different numbers of the team, which massively affects this metric. If your work in progress goes up and your cycle time goes down, what does this mean? Potentially means that your user stories or tasks have been split up, maybe excessively, so the team ends up taking on a large number of smaller tasks out of necessity, as maybe all these tasks intersect, so one individual has to take on multiple tasks at the same time because they're also interrelated and can be worked on at the same time. Perhaps that ticket shouldn't have been split up that much. Okay, so the pros of work in progress. On the face of it, this metric gives you visibility into what's actively being worked on. It can be an indicator of other issues, as we've seen in terms of workload, context switching, etc. By limiting the work in progress, you effectively limit the overload on team members, the amount of potential context switching that takes place, and that lowers the potential for burnout. Work in progress helps teams estimate. If you know that you can go through a certain number of cards consistently, you can be sure about future delivery times. If you know your work is consistent and you know that no other changes are likely to take place, for example, you're not likely to have different size cards come up in the future, then this can be used as an estimate for the next sprint. What the work in progress metric doesn't include is any insights about the quality of the work, or the impact of the work, or the importance of one particular card over others. Work in progress treats all tasks equally, regardless of any priority. They're treated equally. There are other factors that I mentioned in other videos, such as cycle time, throughput, etc., which when used in conjunction can provide a full picture. So again, just like cycle time, while work in progress is useful to show you the state of play, potentially allowing you to use it for predicting future work, it can't be used as a standalone measure. It has to be used alongside other metrics to provide that understanding of your team. What's happening? What the processes are that need improving? What are you doing right? What are you doing wrong? Etc. Thank you for listening. If you find that interesting, subscribe to my channel and check out my other videos.